Are you tired of being a productive, respected member of society? Want to throw all that away and become a full-time YouTube bum like Tony Bum Pizza? Well, step right up, because we got the products guaranteed to tank your life faster than Tony's last livestream. The Tony Bum Pizza Livestream Starter Pack. Broken Samsung with a cracked screen. Terrible Wi-Fi from your neighbor's router. Car seat livestream angle, up the nostrils edition. Daily rant script. Everybody's a hater but me. Perfect for broadcasting your failures in 720p. The Leon, the long-suffering dog, anxiety chews. For pets forced to listen to their owner complain about the mob life he never lived. Now with calming agents. Cheese residue. Tears. Shame. The 2001 Mercedes Confidence Kit includes one deflated ego, duct tape for the doors, vanilla air freshener smelling like financial ruin and regret, looks like success, runs like depression, scratch off dreams mega bundle, 40 tickets, 0 wins, 100% denial, because something's gotta hit eventually, right? The official Batman tee. Never washed. Authentic gas station fabric. Finger-pointing stains included. Why be a hero when you can pretend you are?
Mark, what the fuck you doing in there, you prick?
The Purple Gang and the Rise of the Partnership. A Pizzaverse Studios documentary. A Palermo Productions original. Written by Bambi Palermo. Narrated by Vincent DiPrio. Detroit. A city built on steel, engines, and ambition. By the early 20th century, Detroit had become one of the fastest-growing cities in America. The booming automobile industry drew workers from across the country and around the world. But with rapid growth came opportunity for another kind of business. Organized crime. When the United States outlawed alcohol in 1920 during Prohibition in the United States, Detroit became one of the most important smuggling hubs in North America. Just across the Detroit River sat Windsor, Canada, where alcohol was still legal. This narrow stretch of water would become one of the busiest bootlegging routes in the world. And controlling that route meant controlling millions of dollars. In Detroit, the first group to seize that opportunity was a ruthless gang that would become infamous across the Midwest. They were known as the Purple Gang. The rise of the Purple Gang. The Purple Gang was largely composed of young Jewish gangsters from Detroit's East Side. Many were children of immigrants growing up in crowded neighborhoods where poverty and crime often went hand in hand. Among their most notorious members were the Abe Bernstein, Joe Bernstein, and Raymond Bernstein brothers. By the painted 1920s, the gang had built a reputation for extreme violence. They robbed rival bootleggers, hijacked liquor shipments, and intimidated anyone who tried to compete with them. But the real money came from controlling Detroit's smuggling operations. Liquor flowed from Canada into Detroit by boat, truck, and even across frozen sections of the river during winter. The Purple Gang became the dominant force controlling this trade. And their reputation for brutality made sure nobody challenged them. Detroit, bootlegging capital of America. During Prohibition, Detroit became one of the most lucrative smuggling hubs in the country. Thousands of cases of whiskey crossed the border every week. Much of it ended up in Chicago, Cleveland, and other cities across the Midwest. The Purple Gang not only smuggled liquor themselves, they also acted as enforcers for other mob organizations. At times, they worked with powerful crime figures from Chicago, including associates of Al Capone. But the Purple Gang's greatest strength was also their greatest weakness. They ruled through fear, extortion, violence, and murder. Eventually, their brutality would attract enormous attention from law enforcement. The St. Valentine's Day Connection. In 1929, one of the most infamous mob murders in American history occurred in Chicago. The St. Valentine's Day Massacre. 7 members of a rival gang were executed in a garage using machine guns. For years, investigators speculated about the people behind the massacre. Some historians believe the Purple Gang may have helped supply gunmen or equipment for the attack. While the exact details remain debated, the event showed just how deeply Detroit's underworld had become connected to national organized crime networks. The fall of the Purple Gang. By the early 1930s, the Purple Gang had grown increasingly unstable. Internal conflicts began tearing the group apart. Members turned on one another. Murders within the gang became common. One of the most notorious incidents was the Collingwood Manor Massacre, where several gang members were executed during a meeting. Law enforcement also began cracking down on the gang's activities. Several members were arrested, convicted, and imprisoned. By the mid-1930s, the Purple Gang had effectively collapsed. But organized crime in Detroit was far from finished. A new power was rising. Tired of your gomar ratting you out to the feds? Sick of your capo sweating you over that missing envelope? Or maybe you just need to sleep through a sit-down like it's a spa day in Sicily. Introducing Gonezzo, the only sleeping pill approved by 3 out of 5 mob doctors and 1 very tired consigliere. 1 pill and bam, like you got hit with a blackjack behind Rocco's. But you wake up fresh, no bruises, no wiretaps, and no regrets. Real customer testimony. I took Gonezzo before my arraignment. Woke up in Tijuana with a new name and a suitcase full of counterfeit 20s, 5 stars. Gino the Fork Abatacola. Now with our patented forget about it formula, Gonezzo erases shame, guilt, and 3 to 5 hours of your last regrettable night at the Velvet Lounge. Warning. Side effects may include sudden urges to flee the country, thinking you're bulletproof, marrying your Gumar's cousin during a blackout in Atlantic City. Ask your bookie if Gonezzo is right for you, or don't. He's probably already on it. Gonezzo, sleep like you ain't got priors. The Detroit Partnership. As the Purple Gang faded, the Italian Mafia began consolidating power in Detroit. At the center of this new organization was Joseph Zerilli. Under Zerilli's leadership, the Detroit Mafia became known as the Detroit Partnership. Unlike the chaotic Purple Gang, the partnership operated with discipline and secrecy. The organization focused on traditional mafia rackets, illegal gambling, loan sharking, labor union influence, bookmaking operations, The partnership also maintained strong connections with other mafia families across the country. Its leadership preferred to avoid the violent public conflicts that had destroyed the Purple Gang. And for decades, that strategy worked. Detroit's quiet empire. Throughout the mid-20th century, the Detroit Partnership built one of the most stable, organized crime families in the United States. Its influence extended into construction unions, casino operations, loan sharking networks, and cross-border smuggling operations. Unlike many other mafia families, Detroit's leadership maintained a reputation for discipline and internal control. Violence was used sparingly and strategically. This allowed the organization to avoid much of the public scrutiny faced by other crime families. Federal investigations. By the 1970s and 1980s, however, federal law enforcement agencies began targeting organized crime more aggressively. New legal tools, including the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, allowed prosecutors to charge entire criminal organizations rather than individual members. Wiretaps. Informants. Undercover operations. The FBI slowly began dismantling mafia operations across the country. Detroit was no exception. Although the Detroit Partnership survived longer than many other crime families, federal prosecutions eventually weakened its structure. The history of the Detroit mob is a story of two very different criminal empires. The violent chaos of the Purple Gang during Prohibition, and the disciplined structure of the Detroit Partnership that followed. Both shaped the city's underworld for decades. And both demonstrate how organized crime adapted to changing times. From bootlegging operations along the Detroit River to sophisticated criminal networks operating quietly behind legitimate businesses. Detroit's mafia history remains one of the most fascinating chapters in American organized crime. The American mafia has always evolved. Families rise. Empires fall, and power shifts from city to city. But the legacy of organized crime still echoes through the streets of America's industrial cities. From Chicago to Cleveland to Detroit, each with its own story, each with its own secrets. Thank you for watching this Pizzaverse Studios documentary. If you enjoy deep dives into organized crime history, make sure to subscribe and follow for more episodes exploring the hidden world of the American Mafia. This has been Vincent DiPrio for Pizzaverse Studios and Palermo Productions. And we'll see you in the next episode. Pizzaverse Studios, a Palermo Productions documentary. Written by Bambi Palermo. Narrated by Vincent DiPrio. Executive Production, Pizzaverse Studios. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. A city known for breweries, factory workers, and quiet neighborhoods along Lake Michigan. But for decades, beneath the surface of this Midwestern city, a powerful mafia family operated in the shadows. A criminal organization that rarely made headlines, but held enormous influence across Wisconsin. At the center of that empire stood one man, Frank Balistrieri, known to his enemies as Ruthless, and to his allies as a calculating strategist. Balistrieri quietly built one of the most disciplined mafia operations in the Midwest, running gambling rackets, loan sharking networks, and powerful labor connections. But Milwaukee's mafia didn't operate alone. Behind the scenes, Balistrieri maintained close ties with the powerful Chicago outfit, a partnership that connected Milwaukee to the larger web of organized crime stretching across America. For years, the operation ran quietly, until the FBI began listening. Hidden microphones, wiretaps, secret investigations. Federal agents slowly uncovered a criminal network operating in plain sight. A network that would eventually bring down one of the most powerful mob bosses in Wisconsin history, the Milwaukee Mob. Frank Balistrieri and the Hidden Mafia of Wisconsin. A Pizzaverse Studios documentary. A Palermo Productions original. Coming soon.
And I go into that ground. I won't go quietly. I'm bringing my crown. When I go into that ground, oh, they gotta bury me face down. From the rubble, what do I see? There's a whole damn army thinking that they're gonna harm me, saying that I'll never get free. Oh, I got troubles, they won't let me be. But I won't get tired, set the town on fire till my troubles got trouble with me. Thinking that they've won, it's only just begun. When I go into that ground, I won't go quietly. I'm bringing my crown. And when I go into that ground, oh, they gotta bury me face down. I've been on the run since I was a boy, but now I'm done running. Got another thing coming, watch my enemies get destroyed. Oh, I got troubles of more than one kind, but I never sleep. Gotta bury me 6 feet deep where the sun don't shine. Thinking that they've won, it's only just begun. When I go into that ground, I won't go quietly. I'm bringing my crown. And when I go into that ground, oh, they gotta bury me face down. down.